Well, hey, Hannah.
Howdy.
Happy 2025.
You too.
I don't know about you, but I spent some money last year.
Also.
And I thought it would be a fun exercise for us to think about what we spent money on last year and to rank our top 5 most spendful purchases.
I think that sounds awesome.
So if you're, hi, YNABers. Hi,
Hey, guys.
I'm Ben,
I'm Hannah.
and this is Sketchy Advice. No, it's not.
And have you heard of sketchy advice?
Welcome to Heard Sketchy Advice from Hannah. There we go. A crossover that we never thought would happen, despite the fact that you and I are brother and sister.
We are.
The rumors are true. And we live in the same town.
We do. But we cannot be in the same room right now because we have been plagued by a winter storm.
Yeah, my cul-de-sac is under a foot of snow right now, and I don't think salvation is coming anytime soon. So we figured, why let a little Jack Frost stop us from getting spendful as heck up in here? So for those of you who don't know what spendfulness is basically just knowing yourself and spending in alignment with that. It's viewing spending as a way of expressing yourself, spending in a way that goes toward the things you truly care about.
And becoming more of who you are and who you want to be and less of how other people tell you to spend your money.
So one of the reasons I wanted to do this is because I imagine that your top 5 most spendful purchases probably look nothing like mine, because despite the fact that we're from the same family, we are quite different.
Yeah. In the same town, in the same stage of life.
That's true.
Our spending should look similar, but it's not.
Alas. I mean, not alas. No, that's good. That's part of what makes us a beautiful kaleidoscope of spendfulness. So what we're going to do, I think, is we're just going to do our top 5. And we're going to start with number 5, as I think is the YouTube way. And we're just going to kind of go back and forth.
I had a top 5 and I had an honorable mention.
Okay.
But I thought of it the last second. Honorable mention, the New York Times Games app, because Mac and I love to get competitive. And have you gotten the connections today? How many mistakes did you make? Because we play it so differently. I just like guess. And I'm like, I didn't get any. Mac will spend an hour.
I've watched Mac play Connections. That boy does not. Yeah, he does not fire a shot until he sees the whites of their eyes.
Yes, he beats me in like 92% of the games. But my true top 5, I think I would have to say, is my hot 12-ounce whole milk latte with 1 pump of whatever syrup sounds intriguing at the time, and sausage, cheddar, and egg English muffin sandwich that I always get on my way to the studio on filming days. It has become a ritual. It is a moment, because filming days are long, they're tiring. It's just like, I need some kind of treat. And so every day that I film, it's my rule that I get to go get that coffee, I get that sandwich, and it just kicks everything off on the right note. I'm not hungry, hangry going into it. I have my energy. And here's the kicker. We do have an espresso machine at home. So it's like, there's no reason.
You just infuriated every finance influencer on YouTube.
Sorry, guys.
Graham Stephan is fuming right now.
I have genuinely tried to recreate the cheddar sausage egg English muffin sandwich. Can't do it. Even followed recipes online that were like, this is it. It's not. There's one place that makes the sandwich the way I want, and unfortunately, it is Starbucks. And Starbucks is right by the studio, man. So
that's right.
I lean in. Yeah.
Man, that's good. I didn't even think about doing an order. My equivalent of that is pretty much after every video, I go get a mini Dirt and Worms sundae from Freddy's. It is not on the way home. It's not on the way home. It is way out of my way.
That's hilarious.
It is like $6.
Wow, with the worms.
Good. So my number 5 is this. This is an olive oil spritzer, which I didn't know existed. And apparently, like, the reason these exist, from what I could tell, is like there was a big like fad diet in like the 90s or 80s
Oh,
or
wow.
something. And it was just like, hey, instead of having dressing on your salad, you should just mist it with olive oil, which
Yo.
sounds awful to me. And that's not what I use it for. I use it because this year I got really into seasoning my own popcorn. So one of the things that I learned, because like if you've ever tried to season popcorn, the thing that happens is you sprinkle all your seasoning and then you eat the popcorn and then there's just like a massive
Glob.
at the bottom of
Oh,
just
no.
seasoning. So what you do, first of all, you grind it up really small. That's tip number one for all my pop heads out there. For all my corn boys and pop gals out there. Uh, then after you popped it, you mist it with this, and that just makes it a little bit sticky,
Nice.
not wet, not soggy, just a little bit more adhesive. And then you put the seasoning on there, you shake it all up, and boom, you have your own popcorn. And here's the thing. Here's why I'm a big pop head, is because popcorn is so cheap. It's like
Yeah.
just like a half cup of popcorn kernels. Blam. That's a snack to share. You get a bunch of these worked up, and then like, I've got spicy popcorn seasoning. I've got ranch popcorn seasoning. You can do so many different snacks.
Mm.
Same base. This is like, you don't need this. There's like other ways you can do it. But here's the thing. I think the most spendful purchase that you can make is the one that makes no freaking sense to anybody else. And this is that for me. So that's my number 5.
Dun, 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 dun.
The queen has arrived.
So, Spendful purchase number 4 was a big one. We got me a brand new bike, and we got our son a little bike trailer. So we hook him up to the back of Mac's bike. Mac bought a really nice bike in his bachelor days. And so it was very important to him that we invest in a good bike for me that lasts a long time. And we go on family rides around the neighborhood, and he brings his little toys. That it's just so cute. Yeah, it's just like family fun that, and you just can't beat that. We're doing something all together. It's exercise, which also I don't do, so it's kind of a trick to get me to do something good for my body.
It's a hack.
It's a
Life hack. Get a bike.
We did have a bike sitting in our garage that we could have fixed up. But here's the thing. It sat in our garage for like 3 years. We were always going to fix it up, and we never did. And apparently what it takes for me to want to use a bike is to just go buy a brand new one. I had tried to fix it up when I first got it, replaced the tubes, and that lasted for not even 24 hours, so I must have not installed them right.
Yeah.
But it was just like, okay, let's think about this. We're going to have many kids. We always need a reason and a push to get outside, do some exercise, go do things as a family. So this isn't going to get old. This isn't going to like fall out of use. It's worth investing in now to fuel the family fun for like literal ever. And that old bike in the garage was probably going to fall apart soon anyway, so.
It's weird how like having a version of something where it's like, oh, if I just put a bunch of time and effort into it, then I don't need to buy another thing. Like, yeah, that's such a weird tension. Yeah, I could like own the idea of maybe fixing this someday and doing it, or I could just get something I'm actually going to use. Sometimes you just got to realize that you're not going to do it.
Yeah. And truly, we were not going to fix that bike. And now I love my bike, and it's really cute, and so I feel cool driving it. I assume everyone's looking at me like, wow, that's a really great bike that she's on.
Yeah.
They're not, but it makes me think this is a good thing.
Okay, my number 4 feels boring. This is where I should say that we're not affiliated with anything that we're talking about. We are not sponsored by this. This isn't like a product roundup for these are things you should buy. These are just things that have made our lives better as individuals as we know ourselves and spend accordingly. So do not take this as an advertisement, because I know a lot of people have a lot of feelings about this, but my number 4 is a YouTube Premium. I was so angry to spend money on YouTube Premium because I have been ad blocking for the last who knows how long. And I'm old enough to remember when there were no ads on YouTube whatsoever. But as someone who probably about 70% of my entertainment comes from YouTube, a lot of the things that I watch with Knox are on YouTube, and like YouTube is also where I do most of my job. Being able to just watch a video with no ads it's beautiful. It's like the way things should be. It's a redemption of my YouTube experience. Because here's the thing. This is my theory is the ads have been getting worse. They're purposefully making the ads worse to push us to premium. That's my
Oh.
tinfoil hat. Because I tell you what, I was seeing the dumbest, worstest ads I've ever seen in my life on YouTube before I got premium. And I'm still salty about that. I still feel like Google strong armed me into getting premium. But every time I am like someone shows me something on their phone or I'm accidentally not on my own account and an ad pops up, I feel like offended. I feel like I've been wronged in some way. And to not have to deal with that on the regular is so nice. I'm not going to talk much more about that because I don't want this to feel like an ad for premium. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
just know if you feel like this is an ad, know that I'm slightly ticked off I have to pay for this.
But it has changed right up.
But it is my number 4 most spendful purchase. So that's just to say, spendful doesn't always mean you're super happy to do it.
Yeah.
But if it makes your life better for you,
Yeah.
that's spendful, baby.
On the theme of all my spendful purchases bringing me joy because they bring my son joy or my family joy, we bought a water table this summer. And I had been wanting one for our son for so long, and I brought it up to Mac all the time. We just need a water table. They can be like as cheap as $25, as expensive as like $200. And we were like holding out for his birthday for some reason. I don't know why we didn't get it sooner, because once we did, we spent like all day, every day outside, and it was all he wanted to do was go play at the water table, and you can put any toys in there. And I also am like a lizard at heart. Like if I could just lay in the sun all day, literally on the pavement, and feel the burn on my skin, I would. I love it. And so him wanting to be outside, me wanting to be outside, we would like start eating all our dinners outside in the summer, and it just became so special. And I knew it was going to be a good purchase. Like I was waiting for it for months, and we finally did it. And I was like, yeah, this is awesome. Like I think the theme, minus my Starbucks order, my spendful purchases are the ones that connect me to my family, where yeah, I like this. I mean, my family is what I'm all about right now. Like I'm so into this season of life. And so obviously like anything that's going to make me feel closer to them or like create memories, I would pay so much money.
If I was to think back through all the things I've ever spent money on, the most spendful feeling purchases are the ones that I feel like nudge me towards spending my time the way I want to spend my time. So if it's something like YouTube Premium, where it's like I'm not spending my time with something I really hate, or it's something, like a water table, it's like, well, not only is this something my son will enjoy, but it means I spend more time outside. Then it's like, that's like such a simple nudge toward just doing more of the things you want to do, having life look a little more like the way you want it to look.
Yeah, worth every penny for sure. What's your number 3?
So my number 3 is also related to things I put in my mouth, like my number 5, and that is the fact I shouldn't say it that way. Oh man, I did the bit. This was old. Now it has to be in the edit. Me and my wife Maddie love fizzy water. It was like every time I went to the grocery store, I was like getting 2 12-pack things of fizzy water that we would just like hammer through. Really, me would just hammer through at an embarrassing rate. And so finally, it was like I'd always been like, oh, we should just get one of those like soda, like fizzy things. So finally, I was like, well, we're buying this like every week, sometimes twice a week, or we could just buy this one thing and pay for like canisters. And honestly,
Yeah.
I don't even really care that it's probably cheaper that we do it this way. It's that like I don't have to haul 24 cans
Mm.
every time I go to the grocery store. Maddie likes it not that fizzy. I like it like super. I like that burn. I like that, like how
Nice.
some people drink whiskey for the burn. I drink fizzy water for the burn. And so, like, and if you want to put stuff in it, you can. And if you don't, blam, you're
Yeah, do
set.
you just
So
drink it plain most of the
I
time?
pretty much just drink it plain. I've started putting like actual fruit juice and stuff in it, but
Nice.
I really just like bubbles. I just want to
Yeah.
drink bubble. I just want to drink gas.
There you
That's what I
go.
want. I realized so much like when I drink stuff, like I love drinks in general, and I really love carbonated drinks. So like that could be soda, that could be beer, or it could be fizzy water. And so
Mhm.
like there are all kinds of reasons I would want to drink less beer or less soda. I barely drink soda at all anymore in my life. So to just be able to really easily
Yeah.
just like make some fizzy water and get that good old carbonation is like
Yeah.
is a game changer. But
That's cool that you can customize the bubbles. Put your
yeah,
own
it's
bubble
just how many
experience.
pumps you do. I'm a
Nice.
5 pumper, Maddie's a 3 pumper, and
All right. I wonder what I am.
and it's just a good time. It's just a good time, and it's good for me.
Nice. I actually did read one time that carbonated water is actually supposed to hydrate you faster. I don't know where I read that or if it's credible.
Yeah, I
The
don't know. I
bubbles.
usually don't feel a sense of urgency when I hydrate, but I do hydrate a lot. And this is like you were talking about with like being on your bike or being outside. I drink more water
Yeah.
when there's gas in there. So it's temptation bundling. I want that gas,
Nice.
and the
Gotta get that
water
gas.
is giving me the gas. So
I love that. Real double whammy. One's good for you, one's good for your heart. You put them together, and that's fizzy water. I finally have a prop for one of my Spendful purchases. And this one's interesting for reasons I'm about to reveal. These clogs, I bought them, I think at the start of 2024. Worn them pretty much every day. You can't beat a good solid clog. Now, here's the issue. Oh no, what happened here? We lost the strap. This happened a few weeks ago. Still worn them a few times. You just have to hold on a little tighter with the toes. But it made me realize, I was like, obviously I'm gonna buy a new pair of these because I live in them. There's no more convenient shoe. It's the best. But these are just from Amazon, $35. At the time, I was really struggling because I wanted to go straight up Birkenstock, get the shoes that last for life. You got the quality and, the name. But then I was like, Hannah, don't be materialistic. You don't need the name brand. Just get something from Amazon. I'm sure it'll be fine. Getting it from Amazon taught me that I love these shoes and that when I do repurchase them, which should be soon, that I am going to invest more because I know that Birkenstocks aren't going to. Can this even happen to a Birkenstock? I mean, I don't know what material this is. Felt? Like, if it's not.
yeah,
Birkenstocks are leather? I don't know, but they will stand the test of time. It's funny because at the beginning I was wrestling with, is it worth investing all this money? And now I'm like, heck yeah. Like,
yeah.
these shoes are my personality at this point. I'm gonna shell out the extra money to get the ones that last. Plus, Amazon had like 3 colors, and I actually wanted the suede ones, and these are just not. And so now I can get the ones I actually want. And I don't have to feel materialistic about it because now I know it's not about the brand, it's about the quality.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes you gotta experiment to learn what you love.
Clothing is like if you were to talk to me 10 years ago about how much money I would spend on clothing versus now, I was so much cheaper 10 years ago. because it was just like I'm not a huge clothes guy. Like I don't care that much about fashion or whatever. I just want to not be naked most of the time. And
Good goal.
yeah. And it's I don't know, like it's something you spend the whole day in, you know? Like for me that's like if it looks good, that's great. But it's just like I have to wear this on my back or I have to walk in these or whatever. And so
I
I've
have
got
to
like
wear this.
it's pretty rare now that I'm spending money on clothes where I'm not like spending over $100 on something just because it's like
Wow.
I buy things that
Yeah.
last and I don't have very many people. All of my clothes right now are in this basket down here, which is not a big basket. For a long time, I was just like $50 for a shirt. It's like, well, but if I'm going to wear that shirt every day,
Mhm.
I don't want to have I don't want it to die in a year.
I jotted down a few non-spendful purchases, and there's one that keeps popping up over and over again. Instagram. I am that person that is so easily influenced, and it's embarrassing. I'm like, yeah, I do need that thing. She's right. And every time I get clothes from Amazon, I'm like, what is it? Why did I
Yeah.
buy this? I return it because it's like Halloween costume material. I don't know who's promoting these things. I don't know. But you buy it because you think, oh, this is a cheap thing. For some reason, it's 74% off. It's a deal. It's not a deal. It's because it's cruddy clothes and they just want you to buy it. So I have learned, yeah, it's not worth it to spend little money on clothes. I'd rather find a few things I like and invest more. And that's actually something I'm doing, which kind of taking a page out of your book. When I find a shirt or something that I like, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna maybe snag a couple colors of this because I know I could wear
Mm,
this literally every day and be
yeah.
happy. And then it's less decision making in the morning and all that. I have this in 3 colors. It's amazing how many clothes I've owned. I buy it and then I never wear it because I'm like, this isn't actually me, but I liked the idea of it. Or I don't feel, I don't know, I don't feel natural in it.
Yeah.
So go to the store, try those clothes on for real, and then be like, oh yeah, this like makes me more of me. This is worth spending my money on. I'm gonna be happy about it.
Mm.
Clothes 101.
Clothes 101. Heard it
Come
here
on.
first. So my number two, you know the movie Hairspray?
Yes.
You know how that's
Just listening to that soundtrack the other day.
do you well so you
And
know
Matt
how
was
it's
like, how do you know every word? And I was like, because I had a whole life before you.
so you know how that's based on a Broadway musical?
Yeah.
And you know how the Broadway musical is actually based on a non-musical movie from the 80s?
No, I did not
That's
know that.
true. There's a
Wow.
Hairspray movie with no music in it from the 80s that they made the
Wow.
Broadway musical based off of, which then got made into a movie again where John Travolta dressed as that lady and was married to Christopher Walken. So my number two is like the equivalent
Where is
of
this going?
so my number two is like the equivalent of that. So my number two is Slay the
Oh,
Spire, the board game. Now, this may not mean much to you,
sure doesn't.
but to my gamers, my freaking alpha gamers out there, Slay the Spire is a very good video game that was based on card games that then they decided to make into an actual card game and sell
Nice.
it for over $100. So I'm a person who watches board game reviews. Every review I saw of this was like, this game is really good. I'm not sure why it exists because you can play Slay the Spire, the video game, and it costs $25. Or you can play Slay the Spire, the board game, and it
Oh.
costs over $100. And it's the same game. Um,
Hmm.
so, as I said before, this is my mantra. The most spendful purchase you can make is the one that makes no sense to anybody else. I agonized about this decision because I love Slay the Spire. And this game, Slay the Spire, the video game, you can only play by yourself. But this
Mm.
game, you can play with other people. And also, you get to hold physical versions of cards that
Yeah.
you've seen on the screen, and that feels fun and special to me because I'm a dork. And I bought this. I spent over $100 on this, and I've gotten so much joy out of it. I have a good friend who we like to just get together and do a cheeky old Slay the Spire run. I've done campaigns of it with people. I've played it by myself instead of playing the video game, which I could also play by myself because I'm not in front of a screen.
Yeah.
And if you know, like, okay, is it worth like, is 75, 95, 100 extra dollars to do that and not look at a screen or be able to play it with buddies? For a lot of people, the answer is like, no, man. Like, I'm just going to play my video game, or I'll play a different freaking board game and be happy. I don't need two versions of the same things. And to those people, I say, that makes a lot of sense. And you seem like a healthy person. But for me, this game, as absurd as it feels to me to own this, is one of my crown jewels in my collection. So,
I'm so happy for you.
I know.
That does sound like it makes a lot of sense to you. And not to me. Wait, so it was a card game to a video game to a board game?
It's like a mechanic that board games have been using forever that was just put into a video game.
Nice.
And then they were like, we're going to make a board game. And when I heard about it, I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. That's so dumb. And then it's really good. It's really
And it's your
freaking-
number 2 most spendful purchase of 2020.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not like a change of heart if I ever heard one.
Get wrecked, YouTube Premium. This game that makes that shouldn't exist. Number 2 most spendful purchase. And that brings us to our number ones, our top dogs.
Okay, my number 1 spendful purchase of 2024 almost makes me want to cry right now because I love it so much. So in October, we went to the Kansas City Zoo with Mac and his family. And so in October, our son was like 14 months. And afterwards, we decided to walk through the gift shop. And I grew up with the mentality, gift shops are a waste of money. They're just trying to trick you. Don't spend your money. Like, I don't know. And we're walking through and we see this sweatshirt. Kansas City Zoo. It's a size 2T, which means it's for a 2-year-old. And I don't know why I just like can't let go of this sweatshirt. As we're walking through the gift shop, I keep coming back to it and just being like, oh, it's so cute. I love it so much. And we decided to get it, and our son lives in this thing. And our favorite way that we dress him is we put on a little t-shirt, we put on his oversized hoodie, because this is, can you even believe that this is oversized on anyone? But
Yeah.
we put this on him with a diaper, no pants, occasionally socks, and he just walks around the house in this ginormous sweatshirt and his little baby legs, and you can hear him crying in the background right now.
He's getting emotional.
Yeah, he's of course my sweatshirt. But, and it's like such a goofy illustration, and the text is like neon pink, but it's just every time I see him in this, we just we just love it so much. And it actually started a spending spree. No, that's not right. It started a little domino effect, a short domino effect, where we ended up getting him a couple oversized sweatshirts because we just love it so much. The hood, the everything. So anyway, goofy little gift shop purchase that I was raised to think never buy anything from there. It's a scam, and yet it's my favorite thing. We love it so much. So
Marie Kondo would say that sparks joy. The way you were holding it, like a baby rabbit.
It's just so cute. We have to roll the sleeves up because they're way too long.
Yeah, there are certain like shirts or clothes that your kids wear that just become iconic and just make you go, like, now that Lachlan is starting to get bigger, we're starting to pull out some of the things that Knox wore when he was younger, and you pull stuff out and you just go, I remember like when he used to wear this.
That's special.
So my number one, I've been married for 8 going on 9 years now to my wife, Maddie. So Maddie's engagement ring was like the first thing I ever like made a plan for, that I like truly budgeted for. I like had The room I was living in at the time, I was living in a house with 2 other guys, and my room for some reason had a wall-to-wall, ceiling-to-floor whiteboard, which was really handy. I was a teacher at the time, so I did all kinds of stuff on that. But one section of that whiteboard, I just had this like, like I was doing a school fundraiser. I just had like a big thermometer with like number amounts on it. Maddie and I had this like, we were doing long distance at the time. We had this whole long Skype date where we were going through Etsy rings, just looking at stuff, and found the one that she wanted and figured out how much it was going to be, and then like saved that up, and then got it for her. And it's a very big deal. It was like I was probably the richest I've ever felt is like getting an engagement ring. I didn't go into debt for it. I just paid cash for it. A jeweler from Israel on Etsy. And I decided I didn't just want to have like a, like a normal band. Like some people just have a really simple, like real slick looking, just like gold band or whatever. And I was like, nah, I'm going to be a little extra for myself. So we looked around, and also on Etsy, but now from Greece, we found this guy who did like mountain style kind of rings. So it's kind of hard to see because of the focus, but like there's a mountain range on this ring, which is supposedly inspired by the mountains that Greek man lives by. The thing about doing Etsy rings is that you have to be correct on the size. And when you're doing it internationally, it can be very tricky. So Maddie ordered this ring, and it wound up being too big when we got it. But the thing that's tricky about that is that it's this beautiful asymmetric mountain pattern.
Yeah.
So, like, a reasonable person would have been like, oh, we need to like send this back to get it fixed or go to a shop to get this fixed. But I was like, oh, I don't want to ruin it. And I don't know how much that would cost. And like, it sounds like a hassle. And then I'd be without a ring for a while. And that feels weird. So 7+ years go by. And, like, no joke, I got used to, with my left hand, just kind of holding a fist a lot, because it was, there were a few times where I like did, especially in the winter, I would do this and my ring would just slide off my hand.
Yeah, it was like at least 2 sizes too big.
You were more stressed about this than I was, I think.
Yeah. Once I got an engagement ring, I was like, how in the heck is he keeping that on? Yeah.
So finally this year, I was like, this is important. I don't want to lose this ring. I want to not feel stressed when I'm wearing it. So I took it to a jeweler's, and it was a very modest price, and they did a great job making it kind of a seamless thing. And then like, yeah, now I have this thing on, and instead, maybe it's kind of a metaphor. Maybe it's kind of like, when I got this ring, it was a little too big for me. Marriage is a lot.
To it.
But now I've kind of grown into it a little bit.
Except that my fingers are the same size.
Yeah. Now the marriage is small. I don't know if that metaphor works, but yeah, just like such a simple thing. But like, this is such an important symbol to me. And there is something kind of symbolic in just like taking care of it and cherishing it. And also just like, this is going to sound silly. Like, everybody, I think, except for probably like really type A people who are very good at being adults, I think most people have like a haunted to-do list of things that they should have done years ago that they're really embarrassed about now. And I have a long one of those. Like, I'm very avoidant. I let things go far too long. And to finally be like, this matters. I'm going to be a big boy and walk into a shop and look a human in the eye and be like, 7 years ago, I got a ring that was too big. And I did it.
Same size.
I am the same size. I did not. Yeah, this is. And yeah, to finally fix it just feels like, I don't know. Yeah, it's just nice to have a ring that fits.
That's special. That's fun because it's not even like you want it to fit, but it's like a ring you already had. Theoretically, you could have just let it keep on being big for the rest of its life, your life. But like choosing to invest more in something because it means that much to you. And I don't know. I mean, it kind of is becoming more a part of you because it literally is like conforming to your finger now, whereas before it wasn't at all. So That is really cool.
And I don't have to hold my hand in a fist anymore. I can approach life with an open hand,
Yep.
and that's nice. I think this was fun. I think if you're still watching this, viewer at home, I hope you thought this was fun. Thanks for sticking around.
Yeah.
And hey, maybe this is a chat you want to have with somebody in your life. Maybe or just a little journaling thing you want to do or whatever. I think we spend a lot of time probably thinking about the stuff we get that we don't want to do again, like the mistakes we made and we need to
Mhm.
learn from it. But I think we can learn stuff from like the stuff we did well and that we're happy about. I don't know.
Yeah. One thing that I thought was kind of funny, I told Mac we were going to be making this video. So I was like, yeah, what are my most spendful purchases of this year? And it was hilarious how Mac could so easily be like, oh, well, obviously this and that. Like
Mhm.
he sees what brings me joy. So it's obvious to him, like, yeah, this purchase was like so you and it's made you so happy that I've made so many purchases throughout the year. I'm kind of the buyer in the home. So I'm always at the grocery store or buying the baby things or whatever. So was hard for me to recall. And then it was a great conversation for the two of us to have. Yeah, we're doing life together. And that includes the ways you spend your money and the things you bring into your home and the things you decide aren't worth your time and all that. So it was a great discussion to have.
Yeah. And I think it helps me to think about like how do I, how can I make space for more of this like this year, like
Mm.
because so much of the other spending that I've done, like so much spending we just have to do, you got to live in
Mhm.
a place or whatever. But like there's so much stuff that when you look back on it, you're like, yeah, I bought that. Sure. I don't feel anything about it. Cause yeah, there's like stuff you regret and that stuff you're really happy about. And then there's like everything in between where it's like stuff you just don't even remember because it was so insignificant. And I don't think there's probably any way to just totally get rid of that. But I like being able to take a pause and look and just think about like, okay, that kind of stuff seems to make me really happy. How could I, how could I put more intention towards that kind of stuff this year and next year?
Great time to reevaluate and get to feel a little more aligned going into the new year with what
Yeah.
brings us joy and what makes us more of who we want to be. Yeah.
Well, I think, hey, if you want to let us know what some of your most spendful purchases were, drop a comment. Let us know. If your spendful purchase doesn't make sense to anybody else, I think that's probably the most spendful purchase you could have made. So
Mhm.
let your little freak fret. So yeah, thanks for joining us in this conversation. Who knows? Maybe we'll see you here next year. Talk about
Yeah.
our most spendful purchases of 2025.
Like,
Maybe we'll
yeah,
make
here
one
we go.
tomorrow. Who knows?
Maybe I already made one.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for joining us.